already launched into about 5 or 6 of these, and we pretty much neck deep in alligators with it. No pun intended. But so far we've managed to kind of put a pretty good plan in place also. A few months back, y'all had asked me to go around and try to see what could go. I guess you could say we asked us to go around and try to see what we could do to come up with funding from different areas of the parish. Well, quite frankly, just about everybody that could put in has put in. We have one entity that has yet to commit, but everybody that could commit put into it, and this was their shares were either done off of the population or off of their taxes off of property taxes. In that process, we're right at $100,000, give or take a couple thousand. If the last group comes in, it would put us over $100,000
per year, Paul.
Per year for 3 years. Correct.
Per year.
Each year for 3 years. This amount. We were well received in just about everywhere we went. It was usually a unanimous decision to support this initiative throughout the parish. I will say that we had you guys in attended meetings with me with this, and you can see the vibes were from the councilmen and the mayors of each city. It looked pretty good everywhere we went. Now it comes down to what we're going to do. At each place, I was asked what were we going to do, and at that time I says, as always, we would look at the funding just like everybody did. It wasn't at any one place I went to that, except for Abbeville. The city of Abbeville was the first one that stepped up and said we need to commit this much, and they made it that time. Just about everybody else had to look at their budgets. They looked, we had to go back a couple of times to each one of those places till they gave us their share, so to speak. So with that being said, the budget is $250,000. We've raised close to the $100,000 mark on that. If you look at our percentage, that is we have to deal with for the percentage. But the percentage for what we do off the population, for the rural population, our share of that actually comes up to, if we break it out by population, our share comes out to be roughly $152,000. The cities went off of population. The sheriff, the school board, Harbor and Colonel, Abbeville General went off of the taxes for the land property. So with that being said,
what's your breakdown on your budget? If we could ask.
Breakdown on the
budget. You asked for a $250,000 budget.
Yes, sir.
What way?
The breakdown on the $250,000. Okay, executive director, $85,000. Assistant director or administrator, administrative assistant, $45,000. Travel, $50,000. Advertising, marketing, $50,000. Office, $20,000.
On your director and your assistant director's salaries, Paul?
Is that benefits too?
That's benefits included.
Also.
So that's your gross amount
That's a gross
expended.
amount. Correct.
Total cost, total liability.
Correct. Correct.
You have nothing in there for, when you say travel, that's for?
That is, the executive director is going to have to travel.
What about local travel? Do you have a vehicle built into this?
No,
for
sir.
that person?
No, sir.
Do you have mileage built in?
That is for the travel.
Okay.
That's for the travel.
You gotta know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you wanna know.
whoever you're gonna put,
It's
whoever
got to
would
be
be
the
put.
limitations. They got to know their budget. They got to know their budget. And this doesn't mean, this was put together, this doesn't mean some of it cannot be adjusted, okay? This is not written in
Ally's not
I
here.
don't know what she can, what her expenditures could be towards this.
Not too much, not too much. We've got a tight budget right now.
Right.
And everything is already budgeted for this year, for everything that we're doing right now.
That's a limited one.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be recurring.
No, that's a one-time thing. She's not gonna have to recur to it.
Right, her money's, you're right, you cannot.
What would we need an assistant? We have a director, you want an assistant? You want an
Well,
assistant?
there's,
I mean, that's $45.
if this person is traveling and doing a lot of work, somebody has to be man the house, so to speak. If you look at what administrative assistant's gonna have to do, is gonna have to get letters out, there's a lot of things that they will have to do that would help to complement what this guy's doing, what this lady's doing, whatever it would be. You've got to have somebody in there, you don't wanna tie a person to a desk. One of the things that we have as the 9 priorities is to get out there and hustle up and keep attention of what we have in place already. If somebody has to sit there and do his paperwork also, that's gonna limit that time. Let's just say he has to attend a meeting in Washington DC, let's say that is gonna be unique to this area that they need to go. He has to have somebody there to be able to answer that call. One of the things is we've got to have an entity in place to be able to, when somebody calls this parish, it's not calling Linda, it's not calling Mayor Piazza, it's not calling, the chamber up. You've got to have a focus area. And part of that is that. Now, that can be shared with somebody. That work can be shared. But we've got to have an entity in place to make all this work, keep it going. We've got to have that channel open all the time. And be able to direct where it goes. And they've got to be on the same page with the team.
How much more of your presentation do you have?
How much more you want me to go?
No, well, before we ask questions,
I'll
it's all right.
That's it. That's where I was coming.
Really?
I have a question about Mr. Dark.
Okay, where's this person gonna be housed at?
That's a good question. We've had a couple of people have offered the chamber building with the tourism building's been offered. Gate on the town gate on has offered. Maurice has said something about it. I mean, there's different places we can do it. I personally think it should be somewhere centrally located. That has not been determined yet.
We have a large public building about 3 blocks from here, and I'm sure we could find space in it to minimize the cost.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
Yay.
let me make another comment also too. The tourist commission, she don't have an assistant, and Ms. Lynn Gillis, she don't have an assistant.
They have a part-time assistant. She's actually waving her hand at you.
Yay,
Part-time assistant.
I am here.
Okay, now for the tourist commission, for Alan.
No.
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, yeah.
Yes.
For the tourist commission, we don't have one.
No, tourist does not.
No, they can't afford that. They don't have the money to pay for that. They don't have the money to pay for that. They're trying to get somebody right now, volunteers to come in and do those type of things that he's talking about.
Anybody else with questions for Mr. Bourgeois?
And then in 3 years,
At the end of 3 years, we talk about it. Let me just put it to you this way. There's a way to gauge this as we go through. We look at where we are, what we're doing. We have to look at what we've retained, not necessarily what all we've brought in here, but also what we've retained. So we've got to be able to gauge ourselves. If we see nothing happening, and this is not just going on, I'll be the first person to say, let's regroup and look at this.
But let's say it is happening. How do we continue funding? We've asked
that's important.
other taxing.
I will say this, I'll cut you off on this, and I will say this, some of the people that have put up the money now said it's still going, we'll still continue. Okay, it's not gonna shut down just because 3 years comes to an end. Some of them have already said the commitment will continue as long as we commit.
Okay, yeah. I am in favor of a 3-year thing, personally. But I think beyond 3 years, the taxpayers in the parish need to decide if it's a worthwhile venture, if we're getting a bang for the buck that the $300,000 that the taxpayers are putting now, agree to. If we have to show what it's bringing in.
I don't disagree with that statement.
And I think we need to have a plan in place beyond 3 years, because how worthwhile of a director are you gonna get in committal with this if they know at the end of 3 years, it's done, we have no plan on funding it further?
But at the same time, the person that you're gonna put in place is gonna have a tall step to have to do to make sure this works.
And I
And
agree,
in
but
that case, if he's making it work, he or she who are making that work, then he or she is gonna their funds for this. We're not just stopping at this. This person will have to go into, we're gonna look at the industry aspect of this and what they're gonna bring to it. But we've gotta get started first to be able to do
Right,
it.
and I think that's what we're allowing. We're gonna, if this goes through, we are gonna enable that starting process. But in the general fund of the Vermilion Parish Police Bureau, we have no money dedicated through any taxing for economic development. And we have that latitude that we can use some of the general fund. But we have to show that it's a positive benefit beyond to continue.
I
And
totally
it's
agree.
just fiscal responsibility when it gets to that point. I have a question by Mr. Eber, District One.
Mr. Chairman, I comment to the economic development or the future of it. Is every parish that has it now either is prospering or bringing business in? And I don't know if it's due to economic development, but they have viable economic development in place.
They also have a funding mechanism to support it,
So,
called tax.
you know, it's just, I think if, you know, if we want to be, look to the future, I think it's a direction that we need to head in. Whether it's going to bring business, time will tell, but that's all I have to say.
We'll go down. Alan, any comments on this situation?
I just want to thank Mr. Paul for all the work he's done.
Ronnie, you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I like to thank Paul also too, but you know, like you said, we gotta look at what's gonna be funded for him in the future and stuff. And he said the other parishes have the economic development with it. It's a geographic, location of those
We
parishes.
have taxes that fund those
And,
departments.
a lot of those parishes are
Not
like
just
either on a main loop or somewhere in those areas where they can get a lot of businesses that come over here.
Can I address that part right now?
Yes, yes.
To answer your question on that, we have a lot of things in place that aren't being utilized. We have a 4-lane highway coming straight from Lafayette all the way to 90. We have a good L right there. We have a loop going through the parish right there now, just with that. We also have an area that, we have a plan in place to pick up the west end of the parish to promote it. Also the northeast and northwest area also, to bring something into that area to make that area grow. We have a waterway that we can actually build on also. We have intercoastal city, we have freshwater city that's underutilized now. What we need to do is put somebody out there, we need somebody to bird dog that, and put out there and hustle up business for those areas. To be able to utilize that, our loop is what's in our heart already. It's what we already have. We just gotta promote it and get it going. We just gotta get out there and promote ourselves. This will, if we build it, it will come, so to speak, and that's what I'm trying to get
Okay,
going.
one more thing, in economic development position, do you have some money in budget for advertisement and all that?
We do have money for
That's all
advertising.
right.
Yeah,
$50,000.
we have, yeah, 50,000 for advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would have liked to have a copy of that before the meeting tonight to see all
You
this.
did.
Yeah.
You've had this sent to you, and it's been on our website, and you have seen the,
I see it
Yeah.
earlier, I didn't see this right here.
this was
That's
in,
right.
this was in the PowerPoint presentation I made everybody.
Yeah, I'm
on the
saying,
website
I didn't get that.
from day one. So,
The prior to this meeting, I'm talking about,
Yeah, it was in his PowerPoint 6 months ago.
I'm talking about prior to this meeting tonight.
No, not tonight. You're
Yes,
right.
I'm saying, tonight.
Next, Wayne.
First of all, we're looking at spending $750,000 over 3-year period in hopes of creating positive economic outcomes for that. I think with our director, no matter how skilled this person is, I don't think that you can create a visible or noticeable amount of increase in revenue to be able to justify it in only 3 years. And I think it's a good thing that we do that. I think we need to do something. But in 3 years, we're gonna call that, we're gonna call elections to get a tax to continue. $750,000 that we're gonna spend hinges upon the voters of Vermilion Parish approving to continue on. If it fails, I'm not saying it's gonna fail, if it fails, it may not. If it fails, the only thing we'll have to show is we wasted $750,000.
Actually, 900,000.
Whatever that's gonna be. I think, this is just my way of looking at it. Why wait to call an election in 3 years? We have an election next year, parish-wide election, we have citizens, we have district attorney running next year. Put it on the ballot then. We'll know then whether the people want it. Do your plan with the
think a year ago, doesn't give just cause the director to show the benefits that could come.
That's true.
I think 3 years
It's
is,
gonna take us 4 months probably just to get somebody in place. We gotta put a board in place.
it's a lot of money anyway, and it's a lot of money either way, but
It's a lot of money to risk
that had been dedicated for. I said that.
spending it, and it's not dedicated, and it's a tax bill. And you have to remember, we're asking for an additional tax. I'm saying let's not ask for any additional tax. It's rededicated.
Why are we even talking about this right now about a tax? Let's get this started, let's get started first on all this.
No. Listen, we're gonna spend $750,000.
It's not just we, it's the whole parish. Really step up.
900, and we don't wanna talk about the
300,000,
future.
750.
We have to talk about the future. We can't just talk about 3 years. We gotta talk about doing something and get carried into it. I don't wanna just say we're gonna talk about 3 years and relook at it in 3 years.
Anything else? Mr. Poche?
Yeah, I don't know how much I want to weigh in on all this because it's got so much controversy with it. 12 years ago, we tried to do the same thing, and I sat where Paul was, and I made the effort. And I sat with a jury that did not want to fund it. They felt that if this is something the parish wanted, we knew that the parish decide. Of course, we didn't go to the people with the tax and eventually made it out. Now we have a different concept that we're going to use our general fund to fund it. I'm not for it, but I think we need to do something, so I'm willing to compromise. And in my compromise, I've told Paul a figure that I think that we can afford. I'm not budging on that figure. I always told Paul what that figure was, and I'm not budging on that figure. But I will go on record. In 3 years, I will not support nothing else. In 3 years, I will vocally fight it, because I do not think we should be taking money from our road funds, and our drainage funds, and our cement funds, and funding economic development. Every parish that has it around us has a funding mechanism in place. We will be the first ones to put the cart before the horse. But because of Paul's passion, because of Nathan's passion, and they have really pushed this and worked so hard, I'm willing to give in a little bit on this. But I'm not giving the blank check. And when it comes time for us to come up with a figure, I have a figure that I'm sticking to that I've already told Paul. I'm not going over that figure. But I'm serious about it in 3 years. It's not something that we should be paying out of the funds that support our government. The people have voted and told you what they want you to spend money on, and they did not tell you to spend their money on economic development. Every tax that we are collecting is dedicated. We're doing something very different. And like I said, I'm going to support it. This is not what the people ask you to pay for. You may be a custodian of their taxes, but if you read the description of their taxes, none of it says economic development. That's all I have.
I'm not against it either. I think we should have it, but I was concerned about the money also, like the funding of it, as y'all say, and all understand that the funding in the 3 years from now, how we can fund it. You know, that's what I'm concerned. That's why I was asking about this assistance. You couldn't say, well, they'll put a little money. You know,
Right now, we do.
Did everybody have it, Kevin?
well, I'm just saying I'm not against it.
What on?
Okay.
Yes, okay.
No, I think one question that was pointed to you earlier, Paul, is needs to be very important to have the mechanism in place to show, yes, we have, this is what we retained, this is what we brought in, and I think to make sure everyone understands that they see it, and you've already shown that in your presentation before, how that will be, how you're gonna quantify. Budget, I know budget is tight, we're doing all of this. I think it's extremely important that we pursue this. I know it's, Wayne, you talked about it being a gamble. To an extent, it isn't, it is a gamble. A lot of businesses gamble every single day on putting money forward and reap that return. We just have to make educated decisions on this gamble worth it. And if it can turn into what's happening in the other parishes around here, and we have that same effect with our gamble, we've really paid off well. It is a gamble no matter how we look at it, but I think it's a gamble that I would have no problem taking.
Yeah.
You mentioned my name.
No,
We
Not it is a gamble. We're gambling taxpayers' money. It's not our money, business people.
Right, right.
If you call the election now, there's no risk involved. People can tell us now, yes or no. I wanna take the risk out of it. Call the election.
Mr. Burns? Anything?
Paul did a good job.
George?
Same thing, Paul, I mean, put good effort out there, praise you for doing that, you know. Again, it's gonna all boil down to funding, how we can go about it. I definitely would not like to see the funding come out of our road districts if it's at all possible, because we're struggling with trying to keep these roads up right now. And I know we did cut out our ceiling program a couple of years now, so roads are really deteriorating in a very quick way right now, you know. So, at any rate, it's just a matter of how we're gonna actually come up with the funding, but other than that, I'm supportive.
What?
Pretty much the same thing, I think we need something to try to bring more, into the parish, pretty much like Kevin said, it's a gambling, I'm a gambler. Again, I form price.
He formed price.
What gambling is.
Leon?
Matter of funding, taking public money, tax money. We got 2 garment factories, we got one here that shut down, we got one in Kaplan that works halfway. Funding, public money, people don't mind paying taxes, they wanna make sure they get something for their taxes. Oil and gas and agriculture. That's what you're gonna have to do in this parish to make it grow economic. Funding, be very careful, very, very careful.
This is my turn. I think everybody at the table agrees we need economic development to keep this parish thriving. Paul made some very valid comments all the way through this, that to keep the tax base strong in Vermilion Parish and keep the tax dollars from having to expand on the constituents, we need more assessment. One way to drive assessment is stronger economic development and bringing more businesses into the parish. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. 2 years in a row, this body had to cut $2 million out of our budget, running a balanced budget because of the responsibility we have to the taxpayer. 2 years in a row. We were successful in doing so, and last year, due to our budget cuts, we had a little bit more than a $600,000 to the good balance in all the funds. The critical ones, what we call not so critical ones. Everybody was in the positive. Those are all dedicated funds. We have a reseal program that we had to cut out of our budget each year of $600,000+. We had equipment purchases, that our equipment didn't get any younger in the parish, that we maintain our roads and ditches that we all travel upon. We didn't buy any new equipment because of budget constraints. Mr. Leon harped on funding. And our employees didn't get a cost of living raise twice, 2 years in a row, because we had to operate in their understanding on a balanced budget. And I think we need economic development. I'm not happy that this came up in the committee that I chair, because it's not popular, but it is what it is. And I just have a hard time when we're having to cut other programs, and knowing this is a viable heart and soul of our parish, not only for future business, but to retain the ones we have in the parish, to at least stay at the status we are. How are we going to fund this? General fund is not the answer. And we talk about assessments and holding assessments. In the district I represent in the southeastern part of the parish, 95% of the houses flooded. We had a mass exodus of people in that southeastern corner. Went from one taxing district from $1.8 million of assessment to below $900,000. Just residential and one oil and gas storm related. I don't think any economic development could have kept that assessment in that area. We lost it. We lost tax base, we lost tax increases. I'm torn hearted. You know, I know we need it desperately, but how do we fund and expand government without expanded participation from the constituents and direction from the constituents? When's the time to ask for rededication or an expanded part of government? I don't know that. And that's what I have. And I think Dane had one other comment.
Well, the only other comment I have is, I don't see it as a gamble as much as an investment.
Here, here.
And anytime you invest, I guess there is some gamble.
Do you think we can invest with something non-dedicated and non-directional from the people we represent?
I think for 3 years, with the help from the municipalities that have, agreed to contribute, being they willing to take that investment upon themselves, I think we as a governing body of this parish. And we've been to all of them, and they've all agreed to contribute, and for us to turn our back on it right now, I think would be a step in the wrong direction.
Maybe a question for Mr. Paul, it is legal to do this.
We went through that, we got that okay. Mr. Dodd?
No, that's not the same thing, because I know,
I wanna support this, but I don't wanna support it for 3 years, knowing that it could fail in 3 years. I wanna do it sooner. I wanna do it now. It's fun. I'll wait.
We'll go back to Mr. Bourgeois. This is what he chaired, what he worked on for the past 2 years, hard and soul, and entertain a motion or table it down to another meeting or at your
Well, what
discretion.
I'd like to do is make a motion that we kind of give it the finance. We look at the funding for it, and before I go all the way through the motion, just about every municipality did this. They did the same thing what I'm asking you to do. We sit down with our finance people, we look at what we have, and we come back and we give it big. Everybody else has done that. I think that's the only fair thing that we need to do also for our fair share. The municipalities did it, everybody did this. So I think we should look at what we have in place already. So